Good evening, November Foxtrot.
Evening.
Yo.
I like that background. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I was going to have this one, but then I thought no, that generally does look ridiculous. If it did have a piano there, I'd have left it. Yeah. I'll play all the tunes.
It's the piano that really gives it away, really.
Yeah. That's rubbish. Yeah, I was gonna
Definitely your ass.
That's much better. Yeah.
Hi Harry, hi Kieran, hi Paulus Wales, hi Dan, hi Les, Stephen, Kenny, James. Just one piece of announcement. There has been a comment made on YouTube about our last episode. I think we started early. So on YouTube, I need to look into this, but on YouTube, it looks like our show when we set it up.
Burt Bacharach. Austin Powers. Sorry.
No, it's fine. When we set our show up, basically, I think it starts streaming on YouTube, possibly. So we're looking into that because they were a little bit frustrated that the show said it started at 7, but it actually started at 8. And I think they were hanging around for about an hour. So apologies for that. The show will always be at 8 PM unless we tell you otherwise. So it's 8 PM British time.
Yes.
But I'm looking into the YouTube aspect of it to see if
we have our man on it.
Our guy.
Yes.
We have
I've actually enlisted the help of a young person to assist because I don't fully
want to go down that
route.
We're not the BBC.
We're not affiliated. We are not affiliated with the BBC.
Where do I go to? Hi James Wilkins. Hi John. Hi Stephen. Hi Drew. Drew says I made it.
All.
Welcome. Anvil's in as their house as well. Hello everyone.
Good to see everyone.
To get home early enough.
Hello. Everyone, sorry, I had a message come through. This lovely guy. He genuinely is a lovely bloke. I'd like to just give him a quick shout out before we get into it. 6 Mil Marine who amazingly who watched the show. I was talking about the Desert DPM stuff. Sent me a Desert DPM basher through the post. So I just want to say a massive shout out to him. Thank you very much. Yes, I am jungle knotting the shit out
nods. Of it. If anyone wants to send me some night vision, that'd be amazing.
I like the 8-way ones, please. If there is a thing. I know there's 4s.
No, that's wicked. No, genuinely, it's...
Yeah, I was genuinely made up about it. I was like, oh, thank you, man. That's awesome.
You love a basher.
So I'm going to be jungle knotting myself this evening. And then I'm going to put some on the basher. Yeah.
Hi, Daz. Time for a beer and watch something good. We'll see you in an hour.
Yeah, what's on? Yeah. Where you go? Oh, Sky Plus is brilliant. And pause it and come back to it in a bit, can't you? Is that even a thing anymore? So old, Sky Plus. How rubbish am I? Or just YouTube stuff now?
I don't know. I've never had Sky to start with.
You're not. I don't think you're missing much, really. Not with everything else that's out there now. Anyhow.
I had a chat. Do you know what? Funnily, we've got a work experience in our office this week, and I was chatting to them earlier, and I was talking about a DVD. And I genuinely had found myself at one point going, yes, we used to buy DVDs in the supermarket.
Absolutely did, yeah. DVD.
You had to rent them from a place called Blockbuster. You've just unplugged yourself, Mike. You idiot. You've unplugged yourself. He's gone silent.
Are you muted, Mike? Are you... What are you doing?
No, he's not. I think he's unplugged his headphones. Well, me and Lance will carry on while Mike just minds in the background.
Whilst Mike's our sensory interpreter in the corner, doing his bits, we'll start
panicking like mad now.
Andy, should we roll into the news?
Well, I haven't got the... Oh, I can do the... Mike, can you roll us into the news, please?
No.
2 minutes, right. So, before we do that, have you bought anything? Oh, he's gone. Have you bought anything new this weekend or this week?
I have bought some new things, Andy. Thank you for asking. Kind regards.
No problems.
So, you know my modded bivvy bag, which I'm doing?
Yes.
I purchased a couple of these, and they're sort of like tent pole covers, spike covers, rubber pawns from a chest set, if you like. So, because I'm going to add that storm shield onto the... Well, apparently. That's what was on the package when it arrived, anyhow. Tent accessory.
Tent accessory.
So, yeah, good thinking. I like that. So, obviously, if you've got... Because I've got a handy poncho here. So that'll go over there like that. And then, when I put the storm shield on, I'm going to have another eyelet go over it. But then obviously there's nothing stopping water getting down there. So that's where these bad boys come in, and they just go on there and sit like that, and then no water can get down through the eyelet.
Oh.
Da, 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 da. So that's my thinking behind that.
Butt plugs are handy. Mike bought a fishing reel last week.
They are not,
and and you bought a butt plug. Well done.
I didn't buy that.
Actually,
that's not accurate. Actually, I bought 4 because they only do sets of 4, so I got 4 of these bad boys. So 2 might be a giveaway if anyone else has got.
Where'd you get them from?
Love honey.
eBay. Yeah, eBay, just eBay, mate. They are genuinely tent like canopy cover pole protector thingies. They are genuinely that. So yeah, that's my plan. But what I'm thinking, because I've got the eyelet gun now, so I can put eyelets in everything ever. I'm thinking about doing it. I might try. I've got an old Gore-Tex jacket, you see, so I might try and double that up because I like my dual purpose stuff. So I might actually see if I can storm shield a Gore-Tex jacket.
You're gonna have a jacket by the end of next month or whatever, with just literally covered in eyelets. That's like,
do you know what? I'll end up looking like
lightweight ghillie jacket.
I'll just end up looking like a Chelsea pensioner with just silvery bits all over it, chinking away the old bamboo walking down the high street. Last thing from those, post us a link. Yes, I will do, Mark. Absolutely, mate. No worries. I shall pop up a pixelated image of these on the NoFo community chat afterwards for you. And I bought another thing as well. I got a.
Are we in the news, by the way? Did I miss?
Yeah, I couldn't find.
I thought we'd just do purchases and then wait for you to come back and then do news. So
yeah, that's fine. I'm really sorry. For some reason, my microphone just literally cut out.
I've actually lost. Oh yeah, I got a new tailored boonie from Dragon Supplies.
Lovely.
Which is nice. I like this one. So yes, very good. Got that arrived. I got an M81 sleeping bag liner Dutch Army from Preppers because my one hasn't got a zip on it. It's like a little velcro thing, which is a bit pants. This is a little bit small, so I've got this as a nice large one. But lining the sleeping bag, funny enough, in case I leave the old booties on. I don't want to get all dirt inside the snug pack, so that's that. Yeah, that's about it, really. Yeah, and some mods and some upgrades to the MWS, but that's still an ongoing project, so I'm not going to reveal too much on that yet. That's me done. That's me done.
I made this.
A dildo.
It's very S-rated this week.
Granted, having taken it out of its mounting bracket, it looks horrific. So this is a 25mm aluminium tube with a plug in one end and a rubberized cap in the other, of which I have created a little slot down one end and similar slot in the cap, which gives me a little mounting hole, and they're lined up on the end just there. So this is for my front wired M4 that I've been toying around with. It's a folding rear stock, so you can't provide a battery in there, and I don't really want to have to buy more batteries. So I've got a lot of stick batteries at the moment, and I wanted to be able to run stick batteries on the folding M4. So my plan is that I'm going to mount this using 2 low-profile torch mounts on the side of the rifle. Now, I can't show the rifle, but the guys earlier have seen it. So the idea is that this sort of snits relatively close to the upper rail. I'm going to paint it black as well, because at the moment it does look horrendous. I'm going to stop waving it around as well.
You know what I think you should do? I reckon you should. You get them really posh cigars, like a Romeo and Juliet or a Hamlet or something like that. Or you should do that paint it like that, so it looks like a huge cigar tube.
Yeah.
I mean, that would probably make it look quite. It would.
Cool.
It's going to look like a cigar tube attached to the side of a rifle.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I appreciate this looks horrendous on a rifle. I'm not going to lie. I'm never buying a front wired rifle again.
You are governed by space, aren't you, on them? It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And the little so I've got a little Titan block battery because I thought, oh well, that'll be fine. Put that in the little laser mount, like the PEC box battery storage. It doesn't fit in there. Really kind of frustrated with not wanting to buy more batteries because batteries are expensive to get good ones. I didn't really want to have the massive battery PEQ box on the side of it. So yeah, I went with my aluminium dildo.
Can't go
Robot.
wrong with an aluminium dildo.
I'm actually quite chuffed with.
Non-perishable.
I was going to send Harry Badger some pictures because he likes making things, and I'm very chuffed with my little tube. Now, granted, I will be not having it bright shiny silver, but yeah, that's my little go-to of the week. And I've also been doing some other science. So, Andy, you obviously mentioned the kayak clips. So I've bought some kayak clips, and I'm in the process of. Oh, have you? I'm in the process of milling through one of my old basher poles that I've completely fucked. And the idea is I've got the double-sided ones.
Technical phrase is always used in science, isn't there?
So I'll be playing around with that, which I'm hoping Anvil might prefer on that front. Yeah.
Hopefully he likes that one.
Hopefully he likes that bit.
Hates the first idea.
Something else as well. Oh, and the pants. So, Andy, in previous episodes, you mentioned wearing step ones inside out because you get less chafing. It works. It's so good. Genuinely, wear your pants inside out. Job done.
Yeah. Step one's inside out is like putting your cloud.
Yeah, but surely you've got to do that from new, haven't you? Because obviously, if you start doing it like 6 months down the line, surely the grundies are already sort of perished on the inside, aren't they?
No, because it
I don't know. I've not really a good look at them.
You know, it's sort of
perished. I haven't really looked at the perished grundies in Mike's wardrobe collection.
The pants obviously start sort of forming the shape to you after you've worn them for a while. So if you turn them inside out, it's almost like having a brand new pair of pants. It's great.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Dealing
Course, aren't you
with
back
the
there?
important issues of the day.
Welcome, mate.
It works. You all took the piss, but
I don't remember taking the piss. Don't do that on the show.
Wallace Wales says, "Hey Mike, send me the dimensions of the other battery. I've got some filament I need to use up. I'll print you something." No, I like my aluminium dildo. Leave me alone.
You have no authority here, Paulus Wales.
I'll message you, Paul. Harry says, "I'm impressed with your phallic battery holder making skill. Does it make a burr sound? It can do."
Have you actually blown through it yet? What's the toot like on it? If you toot. You know what you could do? You should drill some little holes in the top so you can. No, you need to put you need to put holes in that.
Yeah,
for drainage,
that, Mike,
and then you can play it.
Not a good look.
Oh yeah, crap. Thanks, Andy.
It's alright, mate. It's a help.
Oh. Marky Mark, aluminium dildo and rubber butt plugs this lows. Lows this so stupid.
It's all about the content, mate. It's all about the content. It would take ages to think about this, you know.
So, anyway, like Stephen White said, had to get a big old mag light and gut it. So I did debate doing that. The problem is that it actually does need to be that long. The battery itself is to there internally, and then I need that much extra space for the wires and the connections to kind of clip into, and then the wire to come out and run into the gun. So I didn't really want to start taking the wire on the batteries down, because having the slightly elongated wire on the battery is useful for charging and also in some of my other rifles. I've adjusted the wire on the rifle as short as I can get it. So that's why it is that length, basically. So
he did maths.
Yes.
He worked it out.
He did mathematics.
I measured twice and cut once. So, that's a new win for me.
A new one.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Anvil says, "Haven't we had enough of pants in the news recently?"
Well,
this wasn't news. This was pre-news.
Yeah, this is purchases and builds. Yeah. We're not on news because he hasn't given me access to the news banner.
Oh, I have. It's in the thing.
No,
should we go into the news?
Let's go into the news. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got purchases. Yep, he has.
Oh no. I bought
yes, I have. And they're all mine secrets. So
I bought a new table to give myself a new background.
Love your background.
Very nice.
Bought some more bits for the GHK and bought myself a 3-litre Source hydration pouch.
Ooh.
That was it. Big spenders this week.
Big spender.
Nice.
Shamol.
Big spenders.
Well, very conveniently purchased on the basis of tonight's show's hydration. So well done.
Well, I was going to show it I was just going to go, look, this is a green bag. But then I realised that I hadn't cleaned it out, so it went, that's going in the bin, and I'll buy a new one.
Pretty bad admin.
Yes, bad admin.
Yeah, I mean, that's horrendous, Andy.
Unbelievable.
Right, let's roll into the news.
News.
No. That's the intro.
Definitely not the news, that's the intro, sorry. 2 seconds.
I take my gun and I go, pew, 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 pew.
News.
Well, yeah, it is
Welcome
on
to
there,
all
but
our
you've
new
labelled
listeners.
it like a twat.
We're very, very well polished.
WhatsApp video 24. Cheers.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Seamless transition to the news there.
So in
Oh, it's
tonight's
not
news,
been a
I'll
good-
be stepping down as the... in
As
any way
button
running the
pusher.
show.
Button pusher.
Yeah.
There we go. Andy, do you want to talk about the not UCal,
Capu.
The UCAPU, yes. So bear with me 2 seconds because I wasn't ready. I thought you were going to chat about
sorry.
other stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. That's just the way today's going, isn't it?
Yes, is it? Yes, absolutely.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So, as a little bit of news, not
Yes.
so much news, more of a question, I guess. There is obviously a lot of websites seemingly shut down at the moment. So, Ammo 6 or 6 Ammo,
6
they've
mil
shut
ammo.
down.
6 millimeter
6
ammo.
There was another one that's also shut down recently.
Yeah, not shut down. I think Hero
Shut
Shark's
from
just taken a stay of absence, isn't he, for a little while?
I think he's pretty
Yeah.
To
much
reorg.
stopping, I think.
Oh, really? I thought it was.
My
I saw an
interpretation
initial
was
post
that he
come
was
out,
stopping, but
and then, but yeah, no, I saw an initial post came out, but then a secondary one came out a while later saying that he's going to sort of reformat or something and not be so involved in the actual production of stuff, but maybe outsourcing that. I don't know.
oh,
Couldn't
okay.
really make.
I've missed
I
that.
couldn't really make too much of it, but yeah. Hopefully he sticks around because does some good kit.
Yeah.
So
Just seems to be a bit. I don't know if anyone else is sort of feeling this, but it sort of seems that the MilSim and sort of airsoft side of things as a whole is kind of not. It's not all happy rosy at the moment. It's sort of MilSim's. I mean, Legion's obviously gone now. MilSim events don't seem to be as high on the ground as they were. There seems to be a few sort of here and there. But I mean,
Well, it's
even
mainly,
battle
from
sims
our
and stuff
point-
like that. There's a few
yeah.
about, but not masses of them.
I mean, Octo, Defiant, and sort of Sterling are certainly the only ones sort of, from what I can see, the only ones sort of like keeping it up in everyone's sort of forefront of their mind sort of thing with things coming up and that. But yeah, I mean, obviously you go back like a year, like last year there was quite a few about, and the year before that, you know, when we got our lockdown, it was like everyone's like, and prior to COVID and that, it was always like something that quite a lot to talk about, a lot to go on. But yeah, they seem to be a bit few and far in between at the moment. So apart from our one, obviously coming up this month.
Yes.
Yes.
End of the month.
Yeah, boy. Tickets available still, not many left, but
Yep,
tickets
do it.
available. If you fancy it, happy days.
Come along, say hi,
So,
have a barbecue.
Barbecues.
in other news, UCAPU.
UCAPU.
Yeah, UCAPU or UKAPU if you don't know how to spell UCAPU.
UCAPU.
So they have their annual AGM coming up soon, which is they haven't actually given me a date. So you'll have to go on their website and have a look at the date. I'm sure Mike will do that in the background for me now.
Yeah.
But they've said that if you have any interest in the sport or the hobby, it's well worth having a little jump onto their website. That I've had a lovely message from their chairman trying to explain it, and he's written, the AGM is an opportunity for our members to be actively involved in the future of UCAPU and the work we undertake. Aside from the election of officers, which takes place at each AGM, it's an opportunity for members to put forward their questions and points to the committee. We are looking forward to speaking with all those who can attend and hope we can work together to move forward and improve and support not only for members but the airsoft in the UK as a whole. And it's if you have they've got openings as well, so if you wanted to become a member, and if you wanted to become an officer, if you have any nominations, they should be received by the 24th of July, which is not gone yet.
Well done. 12 days time.
Not gone.
12 days time.
The AGM's on the 3rd of August at 7 o'clock on their Discord server. So if anyone wants to get in touch with them, you can do so on their, I think it's their Instagrams and bits and pieces and sort of.
Yep.
They've got an email as well of secretary@ukapu.org.uk.
But we'll throw what they've sent up, and we'll link their website on our Facebook page as well for them. So if you do have any interest in that, mosey along and have a little look.
Shamo. Sounds good.
So Les has asked a question that I won't lie, I think probably a lot of people probably don't know who UKAPU are. So UKAPU is an unincorporated non-profit association formed by a dedicated group of airsoft skirmishers to help protect and strengthen our hobby. By providing a united and official organisation that represents players, we can far more effectively engage in discussion with the government, other organisations and the press when skirmishing comes under threat. So it's basically a group of players that's got together and gone, look, we need to lobby for protecting airsoft as a hobby, MilSim and the like. So, by forming a sort of, I guess almost like a union of players, effectively, it's
I would say coalition.
A coalition, that's probably a better
term.
Wow. So you've got a coalition of players. They're people that are actively out there representing us. So, if for some reason the government comes up and changes the law, they a bit louder. If the government comes in and changes the law, they'll basically act on our behalf and sort of lobby various MPs and sort of try and maintain airsoft as we know it and potentially improving it in the future. So that's who they are. UKAPU. Harry Badger says, how are you spelling UKAPU?
UKAPU.
UKAPU. UKAPU. So yeah, there you go. I think they sometimes go to NAF. I've bumped into them once or twice at NAF.
Yeah, there's. We've met them before. I'm not sure how involved they are in the MilSim side of things, but we can always chat to them. Maybe get them on the show if people are interested. Let us know. We can always invite them on and get a chat with a couple of them on. It's not a problem. We're here to provide information to you.
At some point, we will do
learnings. That. At some point, yeah, on how to make dildos and butt plugs.
No,
it's a fun thing to say.
You cover.
It's a fun thing.
It's a fun thing.
Right.
We've also got
any more. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. I've got lots of news. We've also got a couple of good events coming up. Obviously, ours. Without.
Goes without saying, really.
Blowing our own whistle. Tickets are still available. You've also got the UCAL charity event on next weekend, not this weekend coming, next weekend. And on the same weekend is the Rift Battle Sim, because they're going to start taking strides towards doing more MilSims and Battle Sim events. Both very good events, and both highly recommended. I shall be at the charity event, and I think a few listeners. I think Ryan's going, and I think there's a few others as well.
I think there's a couple of bods going up for that, mate.
Yeah. So
very good support.
I'll be flying the NoFo flag high. But yeah, two very good events coming up, and then obviously our amazing event
on the 29th.
On the 29th.
Oh yeah.
Turn up on the 28th. Get the drinks in.
That's it. Campfire. Nice chill evening before it all kicks off Saturday.
Lots of training. Lots of training.
Trainings to be done. Funds
is.
To be had.
Get your tickets now.
Tickets now. Tickets, Bosh.
Well, that's mine. Yeah.
Seamless.
So that's my news done. I'm finished.
Going back to the UKAPU quickly, Anvil has helpfully chipped in and said they've done a lot of good over the years, pretty much saved airsoft in the UK back in 2007, 2008. So
fair play. Well, thank God for them then.
Yeah, and I think they pushed quite hard when COVID decided to rear its ugly head. I think they did quite a lot when sport activities were allowed back. I think they had quite a big hand in getting us added onto that list as well, so we could start playing again and shooting each other.
Cool beans.
I have heard of them. They are very
By all
helpful
accounts, they've done wonders
individuals.
for us, haven't they? Really.
They have.
So yeah, fair play to them. John's just put in on a little side note. There is a pistol and sniper range competition at the UCAL event as well. So something for you snippers
there
and
is.
pistolers
Yep.
to look forward to taking part in. Marvelous stuff.
Cool. Right.
Pew, 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 pew.
Let's talk P.
Oh, was he not? Have you two got not any news?
No, not really.
No.
We haven't covered already. UCAPU was a big one.
Yukapu, yes.
Question from Les. Les said, last week you said that you will have a stall at the NoFo event wherever with patches. We will have a stall at the NoFo event. We have patches. The patches are currently being made. We are at the Velcroing stage.
By the
Very
elves.
exciting element
Which is
of
very
patch
exciting.
creation, I think. That's probably my favourite part
we
of
have-
patch creation. if I'm
Yeah,
honest.
It is.
yeah.
It's my favourite part of patch
Velcroings.
creation.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you
Just
call
short of the
is
bit
it-
where they lick each one before they put them in the packet.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm so
I
glad we
don't know anything
chose
about how
someone in
patches are made.
Wuhan to make our patches for us.
I don't think we. I don't actually know where our patches are being made. To be fair,
All that we know
I
is
know
they're being
it's
made.
Orion Wear, and they are making them, and they look amazing. So I'm not
They
going
do
to start
look
slagging them
amazing.
off because they genuinely do look pretty good.
Is there
got
a new? There
colour
is a
coming?
new colour. Yes,
There is a new
I couldn't,
colour.
remember, I
Well
couldn't
done.
remember if
There's
we
a new
went for it
colour.
or not, but there's a colour. Yes.
Yes, there
It's
is
We
a
have
very
a
new
new
colour.
colour,
cool.
so there'll be the classic orange, and we have a new colour which we will announce when we receive them.
No,
So that's quite exciting.
Or we won't, and you'll have to come to the event to find out what they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're not
Oh,
going to
Les
tell you.
is only
You're gonna have to
asking
come
as
to
he
the
now has a
event.
patch board, thanks to me. So
Ooh,
Lovely.
I'll
we'll
use
try
the roof
to
of
fill
my
it up
truck
for you.
for my patch board.
I feel like I need a patch board.
You should get a patch
they're
board.
quite easy to make. I can send you.
Buy yourself a
the-
Shogun Sport, and you can just stick them to the ceiling and the inside of the truck.
Yeah.
Wow, look
I
at
bought
that.
some fabric and then some bits of wood from B&Q and basically made myself a patch board using mirror screws. I've mounted it all to the wall.
Look at
I
Mike
just
and
screw 'em to
doing
the
all
wall.
them things. Yeah. I
Just,
just put, yeah, safety
individually.
pin, a paper pin thing. What are they called? Little
What?
pins with a
Push pin.
Safety tack.
No, you know, like
Thumbtack.
a drawing pin. Drawing
Drawing
pin.
pin.
There we go. Come on, Lance Christ. God, I can't be there. You'll be sorely missed, Steve. Unfortunately,
You will be.
Hopefully there'll be another one, mate.
Only says I use the boot of my car as a patch wall. It's a good shout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until
The
he drives it
material
into
that
a con-
lines car
yeah.
vehicles is perfect for patches.
Mine isn't. Mine's silk on my roof.
But don't put it on it as a convertible one, because that's just
Yeah, you're holding it up.
Fucking weird.
fuck.
Right. Let's talk hydration. So we're going to kick off the evening with the signs of dehydration in yourself and your team, because ultimately, let's work out, to the point of where you're dehydrated first, and then we'll talk about how to hydrate and how to carry water, etc., etc. So, the first picture that I always love to share, whenever we discuss this lovely topic, is the P chart.
The
I've
P
got this
chart.
saved on my computer
P
under
chart.
P. So fundamentally, if you are listening to the show, probably not the most helpful because it is an image, but there are 8 different colours ranging from sort of a very clear, pale, well, it's clear, to a kind of muddy brown colour as 8. The top 3 are basically healthy Ps. So if you are in any way are kind of moving into the darker yellows, then you need to be looking to drink more. This file can be found on the NHS website. There's loads of them out there. If you Google what colour should my P be,
As everyone should do now and again.
That's important. Stay
Don't do it
hydrated,
on the
y'all.
family. Don't do it on the family computer.
Anvil's just off to check their P. He'll report back.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. No pictures, please.
So, fundamentally, I don't really think that anyone needs to be taking a image with them, laminated and sort of doing a proper side-by-side colour comparison. But I think it gives you a
tests
pretty good steer that if it's a sort of darker yellow, then you need to be considering a little bit of hydration. Most of us, I'd be willing to bet, are actually probably in the drink more category, just from a day-to-day perspective.
Nope.
No, I'm not either, to be fair, but I know I used to be.
3 litres of water a day over here. You're muted.
Hey, I was fanning around with my fingers. Yeah, I'm on about 7 litres a day at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Love it. Can't get enough of it. It's all good. With
Drew
a tiny little bit of salt on the top. What?
Drew says, I think they're taking the piss about this. I always love it. Harry says, if your pee smells like sugar puffs, you're an 8. You need to drink more. Marky Mark,
don't eat asparagus.
Yeah. Marky Mark very helpfully just said, just had a shower and I'm currently number 3, so thanks for sharing.
Nicely done. Sterilising the toes, good lad.
Yeah. Kenny says, no Lucozade pee. I mean, that's a pretty good thing if it's... God. Kenny says my pee always smells like sugar puffs.
But this is the thing as well. Puffs. Some of the sports drinks and stuff that are designed to help you rehydrate, they naturally turn your you could be 1, 2, or 3, and you've drunk loads, but because of the colourings in them and stuff, you end up being looking like a 5 or 6.
Just good quality H2O, man. Just get it down,
yeah. I mean, ultimately, thanks, Tom. Tom from Anvil. It's okay, everyone. I'm healthy.
Brilliant.
Good to know.
Cracking on.
Next week, the food charts.
No, I mean,
what is a healthy feces?
Ultimately, this is a way of kind of determining yourself if you're hydrated or not, as a quick reference point. If you want to start sharing pee with other people in terms of what do you think about this colour, then by all means do. That's down to you. this is for you.
Perhaps
yourself.
We can start a NoFo P group.
Yeah.
sub channel of the channel.
The NOFP.
The NOFP.
NoFop. Yeah.
NoFop.
Sorry. Yeah. So basically, this is a quick way. Heavily available on the internet if you want to find it, dig it out. We'll upload it to the website as well at some point. It's not particularly high on my priority list, to be brutally honest with you, but we will upload it to the website because ultimately it's quite a good way of working out, if you need to drink a bit of water.
Also,
from the start.
Sweating loads and not peeing is a very good sign.
Indicator.
You need to start. Is a very good indicator that you need to start drinking a bit more.
Absolutely.
There was a lot. I went for a skirmish day a few weeks ago, in probably the most hottest day of the year for me. And I drank probably about 10 litres of water, and I didn't piss until I got home. I was it was
just absorbed a lot. Yeah,
it was just drinking it.
But that's the thing as well. It's not only
out.
just drinking water. Obviously, you're going to be losing the salts and sort of minerals out of your body as well. So it's important to replenish the salts as well to get the sodium back into you.
Yeah,
100%. Otherwise, you start cramping up and stuff.
Yeah.
I always put a little about a half teaspoon of salt in my big bottles of water. Yeah, man.
Do you guys use the I can't think of what they're called. The
isotopy.
That's the one. The isotonic powders and stuff like that.
I keep the tablets in a car.
Yeah, always handy. Absolutely, mate. Diarrhea, anything like that. Especially if you've had the trots and stuff like that. They're just as good. It's the same thing. Just to replace that, what you're losing so quick, just to get the minerals and that back inside you.
Yeah. Lucozade did one which I've got in the car. And that's actually quite nice. That's quite pleasant. You don't get that weird chalky taste afterwards. It actually dissolves quite well. Highly recommend the Lucozade one if you can get hold of it. But they seem to have stopped it now.
Oh, okay.
But there's still shops.
Hydrate to operate.
Exactly.
Well said, Phil. Flaming folders.
Because we're all operators here.
Operators AF.
James C says that's why I take those multivitamin tablets. Absolutely banging. Take them daily, even more so when I'm doing hard exercise.
Good man. Yep. I'm always.
So there was an interesting question that Marky Mark threw in. So I'm going to sort of pick questions up as we go through. So, in regards to hydration, do you pre-hydrate before going to an event?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
On the drive up, I
always stay hydrated regardless. Yeah,
yeah,
always. It's very rare. Maybe towards the end of the event, like LP might be a little bit off, but especially more so recently since my eating plan and stuff like that. I'm constantly hydrated. Never get headaches, nothing like that at all now. So I just constantly feeling good. So yeah, it's important to keep. Yeah. You know, even if you're not doing hard exercise and stuff like that, I do it all the time. Like go and boil the kettle to make myself a black coffee or something. I'll have a pint of water. You know what I mean? It's just random. Just do it as habit now. Just to get that drink, which is always good. So
yeah, I've got to me. I more calorie build before an event than I do hydrate, and it's probably the wrong way around of doing it. But I do tend to, like the Thursday and the Friday, tend to have quite calorific meals to get the calories up for the weekend, that I know that I'm going to either miss meals or be putting a lot of exercise in, or try to put a lot of exercise in. But I tend to calorie.
Well, even just you walking around with your rig and your 249, that's exercise in itself, really. Could get out the fucking back of the cars hard enough.
Yeah. If anyone wants to feel the weight of my M249, it will be at the event.
Yes, yeah.
On the 29th of July.
My fully laden plate carrier will be there if anyone wants to try and have a run about with it. Have all the boots.
I suffer with the medieval disease of gout, which if I don't drink enough, potentially my foot will cramp to the point of I am unable to walk on it, and it becomes absolute agony. So I always make sure that, especially if I know it's going to be a hot one, I'm always making sure that I'm sort of drinking enough water before the event. I'm not always drinking the most water, and it's something that I've changed probably in the last year. Used to be pretty bad, especially when I was at uni. Like, it's all other drinks basically, so things like
I mean, water can be pretty boring, but once you get into the routine of just having, like, I've got another one with, like a Nalgene sort of large cup sort of one, which I always keep in the car. I always take it to work with me at night time, so I've always got my little Stanley cup with my black coffee in it, and I've got that water in that as well, so I've always got water in that on me all the time. So yeah, but it is, I mean, I used to be like that before I got into the training and stuff like that, and the way I'm eating now, it's I just never thought about it. My mindset was I'll just get a can of Diet Coke out the fridge. It's better. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's nice. Just because it's the norm. It was the norm for me then. But since then, I've changed an awful lot with the amount of water I take on. Yeah. Loads of water.
I hardly, like, probably all of this year, I rarely have a fizzy drink. Like, I've got to admit, the last couple of days I've had one just because it's cold and it's straight out of the fridge at work. But I tend to not, like, we don't have any sort of fizzy drinks, because fizzy drinks are the worst as well for dehydration, due to the due to the artificial sugars and stuff that they put in them. They're actually diuretics as well. So don't take fizzy drinks to events if you can avoid them, and stop drinking Monster and shit like
water and black
that's
coffee.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's all I drink for the last 24 days. Yeah. All I've had is water, black coffee, and then twice a day I have a black coffee with a bit of double cream in it. And that's it. It's all I've drunk, and I feel amazing for no fizzy drinks and ting. Yeah, it's all good. All good. Can we turn up on the Friday or just Saturday? Daz, you could turn up Friday, mate. You can turn up Friday after 2 p.m. Was it lunchtime or 2 p.m.?
Lunchtime, I think it was
after lunch. Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, you just need to let us know in advance, because we've just got to make sure that we know who's on site and who isn't.
Yep.
So if you do want to turn up early, just give us a shout, and then we just know to look out for you, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, you can turn up on the Friday, so it's not.
Yeah, I'll be there from about lunchtime.
I think I'll be there from about.
So there will be a responsible adult
in the area.
Yeah, in the area.
Not necessarily on the site, but if you leave that site, there's hundreds of them. No, it'll all be good. It'll be fine.
So in terms of sterilising, I'm going to talk about sterilising water first, because there are some events where
bloody filter in the car. Sorry, I was supposed to bring up my Sawyer Mini in my Millbank bag, and I bloody left it in the truck. God,
that's right. In terms of obtaining water, so for the most part, I think most events you'll probably carry water into the site. I don't know if you guys have ever played at an event where you've actually collected water, and I don't mean water that's been deposited by the event organisers. I'm talking like literal taking it from a stream or anything like that.
No,
not on an event.
would be
I have
cool
done
though.
it
Would be
when we were
a good
hiking.
another element. That would be cool.
Yeah, I've never done it at an event, but I've done it when hiking through the Hurtgren forests. That's Germany
So, yeah,
for people that don't know.
Wild camping wise, it's the sort of thing. The water is obviously heavy. So whilst you need to be carrying around some water with you, if you collect water or do some cooking or anything like that, it's useful to sort of stop near a water source, and you can sterilize water where you're in situ, basically. So there's obviously purification tablets that you can use. You can boil water. And one thing I've found that I really like recently, I just want to share this with you guys, is the Grail GeoPress.
You used that in your last outing, didn't you?
I did. Not a sponsor, but this basically is sort of a two-stage collection system. So you take your outer cup here, you go and fill that up, and then you place the inner into the outer cup, and by pressing down, there's a seal around the bottom of the inner, which forces the water through the filter and then up into the inner container, which is then accessed via the mouthpiece. Now, this is meant to be good for... So here we go. In 8 seconds, it makes 24 ounces, which is 710 ml of safe, clean drinking water anywhere in the world. It filters out particulates, sediments, microplastics, and many chemicals, pesticides, and heavy metals. It's really, really quick, and it's one of the quickest systems that I've found for cleaning water in a hurry. It's very simple. You literally just fill the outer, push the inner in, push it down, and then that
mouthpiece, Mike, does that come off so you can deposit it into another sort of like container sort of thing? So
the mouthpiece is literally just a little lid.
Oh, okay.
Just a little lid, so you can unscrew it and then you can just pour it out like you would a normal water bottle.
That's wicked.
So I've
like
used
that.
it before between three of us that went wild camping for, I think we were out for 3 days. One of them had a Sawyer Mini where the water came out tasting funny. So I was actually filtering water for all three of us through that Grail for 3 days. I think the filter in it lasts for something in like 100 presses or something. Might be more than that. I don't want to.
Yeah, because the Sawyer Mini does it for 100,000 gallons or something. A Sawyer Mini will filter water for. So I think it's going to be.
Let me actually find out before
I
start. Rated for 350 cycles in the cartridge as press time, and if the press time starts going up to sort of 25 seconds, or 3 years have elapsed since its first use, then you need to replace the filter cartridge because it's not like the Sawyer Mini, which I believe is sort of a clay. It's almost like
a mineral-based filament, isn't it?
Pipe work type thing that the water flows through. This is an actual sort of filter. So this is almost like a Brita filter type setup.
So what does it? Does it kill the bacteria and stuff as well that you might find? Like it said, getting rid of the chemicals.
It puts it through charcoal. Does all of that.
That's cool.
So yeah.
So no nasty bugs or anything.
8 seconds per 24 ounce, which is 5 litres a minute. I've never had any problems with it. It's got ultra powdered activated carbon technology.
Sounds like words.
Yeah.
See, I am.
But you can use it as a water bottle as well. So
yeah, that's cool. I'm quite with Adventures of Zulu on that as the old Millbank bag, and they've actually brought. Eventually, I'm not sure if you're aware, mate, but they've actually brought out a new one now. They've actually revisited that design. And there's actually a new Millbank bag, which I do love. So basically, a Millbank bag, it's almost like it looks a bit like a if you get the old school one, it looks a bit like a canvas sort of like sandbag, and it's got text printed on the outside with a line at an angle. And what you do is you gather water from the stream or river, wherever it is, hang it up in a tree to the brim, and then you let it settle, and you'll see the water line drop down. And it will become level with the black line that's printed on the bag. And what that does then is once it gets to that point, you can start collecting the water from the Millbank bag into a pot or whatever it is, boil it up, and then you're good to go. And it basically just removes all the little nitty gritties and bits. It doesn't remove like disease and stuff or bacteria and things like that, but it gets all the sediment and all the crap out of the water.
Yeah.
So that when you do boil it, it is going to be proper water. It's not going to have like that earthy taste to it or anything like that. But then I've done that before with a Millbank bag, boiled it up, and then just for extra safety, just pop in a tablet as well. In there, just like a litre bottle, like a tablet.
Because they do different sizes now, don't they, as well? They do different litrages.
But yeah, the Millbank bag, it crunches up nice and small. It's lovely. It's a great bit of kit. Love them. Yeah, all good.
I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm in any way not promoting the Sawyer Mini. It's obviously a good little system as well.
Yeah, I've got one.
As Kenny
I've got so many.
says, you do have to flush them after use, because otherwise they do just clog up.
Yep.
Don't seem to be able to show his comment. Is it coming? There we go. I'm going to turn the banner off because I think the banner's slowing everything down.
Turn that banner off.
So yeah, they've obviously got to be flushed after use. But the thing that I found appealing about the Grail was the fact that you can you filter it through and then you can pour it out and it's really quick. Whereas I found with the Mini Sawyer, you've kind of got to push everything through, and it's good if you just want to sort of suck the water through the straw. But some
Straight
of the ones
from
that
source
have like
sort of thing.
yeah, some of the ones have like the inline hose and everything like that. It's not much use if you want to cook with it or anything like that. I found it a lot more challenging to use.
So
I mean, other
on
options
your
as well,
one,
you've got the
Mike.
tabs as well. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Sorry, mate. On your oh, I forgot which one it was. Source.
The Grail.
Grail. You know the screw top that you've got on yours. Is that a standard bottle thread? So could you put the source bottle filler connection on it? Do you know?
I don't know. I can't see it to hand, so I will test that for you. I will find out.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
You've
You're
muted yourself again, Mike. Lance.
Say, no, I didn't do that. So with that Grail, then, could you potentially fit that top bit to a larger bottle and just drink it straight from source, or do you still have to plunge it and then drink it?
No, you still have to plunge. So the way you're processing the water through the filter is that downward motion. So you are forcing the water through the filter.
Okay, right, I'm with you.
But it's literally you're talking. You fill up the pot, you plunge it, you pour that into another pot.
Bit like an AeroPress
take
sort
it
of thing,
out.
then.
Exactly.
Yeah, a bit like
exactly
that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Oh, nice.
So,
Good stuff.
and it's apparently I don't know the exact ratings and everything like that. Anvil's made a good point that you've got to be careful in the UK. Lots of pesticides and fertilizer in our water, as well as bacteria and waste. People should check what their filter is rated for. So the filters apparently are pretty good on the Grail. I don't want to go into the technical specs because I don't know enough about them. I've found that I'm satisfied with what it does, having done my own research. So look into it yourself. It doesn't absolve you from best principles of checking that there's nothing dead 10 meters up the river. Ideally you want to be looking sort of 50 meters if possible. You want free flowing water. Try and get as little sediment in the water as possible. When I used it last on Dartmoor, it hadn't rained in quite a while, so the water was very boggy and peaty, so it was very brown, and I feel that possibly blocked my filter a little bit more. So I'm probably going to have to look at the replacement now, which James said they're quite expensive. So they're £30 the filter, which is, say, about 350 presses, 250 presses, something like that. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I mean,
So
erring
it's
on the
quite
side of
expensive.
caution, then, if you are ever in any doubt, always boil it. Bring it to a full rolling
always,
boil, and then afterwards just drop in a purification tablet as well, just for the extra safety. But yeah, so that's why I like the Millbank bag, because it's strain it through that, boil it up, decant it into whatever bottle you've got or whatever you're using, and then or even using a metal bottle and boiling it straight in there with the lid off, which you can't see because it's green. Magic bottle. Whoa. But yeah, that's always a good option. Boiling is key, I think.
Yeah,
if you're unsure.
You can't beat a good boil.
No, exactly that, mate. Exactly that.
Well, bear in mind, boil will get rid of anything that's alive in there that shouldn't be in there, but won't obviously necessarily remove things like your heavy metals or some of the other stuff. Which
that's what I mean. But filtering, and then boiling, you're covering all the bases, aren't you?
Both
Really,
bases, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't drink anything near a Thames.
simple.
water.
5 litres from Tesco's, £1.50 Bosch. That's right, Les. Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Ultimately, if you're going to be going to an event where, ultimately we've just made the point. We've never been to an event where you actually need to get water on site.
Yeah, I doubt that's ever going to be a requirement unless an event suddenly comes up where you're out in the field for a few days and there is no resupply for water or such or anything. But I can't really see that happening, if I'm honest. Defiance next event, they bring a new rule set in.
Yeah, you're not allowed to
Must have
drink.
water filters. Oh no.
So in terms of carrying water then, so what do you guys use for transporting water? So first off, let's cover how much water you usually have on you at different types of event, because there's obviously more battle sim style situations where you're going to be, you don't run the full kit. It might be a harness setup, and then let's cover then sort of a full day out in the woods, sort of like the more traditional woodland.
So
long-term MilSim.
Mine's 3 litres because I throw 3 litres in that bag right there. Or that bag gets packed, rolled up into the bottom of my Bergen, and the 3 litre pouch gets put in the Bergen for transporting. So mine's always a minimum of 3 litres in the bag. If I know that there isn't a water source, then I'll probably get another 1.5 litres and try and. It's a bit naughty, but I do try to equal out my drinks. So I'll take a little cup then. So I'm not ragging it all during the first day.
Yeah.
I try to ration myself a little bit. So at most, I'd only take probably 4.5 to 5 litres. But as a standard, it's always 3 minimum.
Yeah, I'm similar. Like if I run my belt kit, I've got 2 water bottles that are always fill up in that, and then that always goes inside of a day sack, and I'll have another couple in there. So I'm pretty much probably 4 litres, perhaps 5, depending on what I'm doing. And then obviously my plate carrier's got a 1.5 litre bladder on the back of it, which just stays really nice and flat. Which is sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But if it's like a hot event, like an urban event, and I'll be running a plate carrier more, then yeah, that'll be full. As well as maybe a couple of bottles in my day sack, which will be on that. So yeah, always. At a minimum for me, it'll be 3 litres of water at a minimum. But then obviously, like I said, I run a day sack, so I'll have an extra one in there in case anyone's bottle gets lost or broken, or they guzzle it and they need it, or again, like I've mentioned in a couple of my videos, that I use it for like only ever clean water in there for irrigating wounds or a burn or something like that. So it's always handy to have that water on you, not only for drinking but for cleaning anything as well. So and that's why I always only ever keep water in them. Just keep water in them. Grow up. Don't say, I can only have orange juice. Like just. Get on with it. All right? If you're thirsty enough, you will drink fucking water. It doesn't have to have squash or some sort of cordial added to it for you to drink it. You're big boys and girls now, all right? We can drink water together.
Yeah, I've got to admit, if I take a cup though, I do like add a bit of sneak now and again.
Yeah, but that's fair enough because it's in the cup. You're not contaminating.
Oh no, I
your
never
water
put
bottle
anything
with it.
in there.
Yeah,
No,
I do that. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. If you needed like a Diarrhea drink or an energy drink, you put a bit of the powder in a cup and add the water to that. Give it a stir and drink that. Don't just whack it straight in the bottle, because then that just sort of like, well, that's it. Then that's all you can drink that water. Use that water for.
What about you, Mike? How much?
I've normally got 2 of the 58 pattern Osprey water bottles. Oh, the canteens. Sorry, I dropped out of what I normally say. Then you confused me.
See, coming around to our way of thinking. Good.
On my plate carrier, I've always got a 1 litre sauce bladder. I've sort of set my kit up to be having that as a standard. I don't have my webbing set up with it yet. I still need to kind of adapt that a little bit, but I like having a litre on me at all times with the hydration tube. So if I'm laying down in the bush or anything like that, then I've got the access to at least a litre of water without having to really move. There's minimal movement required to just pull the hydration tube up and put it back down. Depending on the event, sometimes I will run on my Virtus the Virtus 3 litre bladder. So that's a sauce bladder that comes with it that you can also have a hydration tube out of. So you can have the water bladder with the hydration tube for the 3 litre as well. Don't always have that on the event, so probably, again, sort of Lance saying, sort of maybe minimum sort of 4. So 2 in the Ospreys, 1 in the sort of sauce bladder, and then it might just be a little bottle of water as well that you can just crunch up when it's done because it doesn't.
Have you seen them? Space. You seen them little miniatures you can get as well, like an emergency water, like you can get them in like little thin packets. You can also get them in like they're almost like a little eye wash sort of tube. It's just like a quick like blast of water, and you just like off it goes.
Oh no, I haven't seen the
it's like a survival. You can get like a little water packet, but then you can also get these little tube ones, which are pretty cool. You just to sling them in a little pack sort of.
I presume that's got added stuff to it. It's not just.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just like pure mineral water or something like that, or whether it has got some bits and bobs added to it.
Speed.
Yeah. Woo! Here we go.
It's just a mixture of water and adrenaline.
Just a little pick me up. Yeah. But they're quite cool.
In terms of something I wanted to share, my brother does actually. He has got a little grenade pouch that he's found a tiny little water bottle. So I think it's only like 200-300 ml. so about sort of a Coke can size. And he's got that sort of just tucked away on his kit. So again, he's always got like a little amount of water just on a belt set up.
Yeah, that's full of water. That's a little whiskey canteen. That one.
Water starts with a V.
Yeah,
I've been assured that it is water. But
actually, I think I saw that at the Rift. He showed me that.
Yeah, because he was very excited about it because he was like, I found a bottle that fits my grenade pouch.
I think it's a runner's bottle, isn't it? A little runner's or marathon runner's bottle, like a little. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's nothing sort of over the top or expensive, but
that'd be quite good actually, wouldn't it? Like a smoke grenade water bottle, just so it looks the part still, but you've got some additional water in your sort of thing, like a smoke grenade one with a little.
Just don't throw the wrong one.
NoFo smoke grenade water bottles coming your way next year, guys. Shit.
Or you lob your water at some poor unsuspecting person.
Oh, thanks very much.
Hi, Stephen. Thanks for joining. One question I always get asked with the source, just because I know I sort of position mine in a slightly different way to most. So my source bladder sits just behind my right arm on both my plate carrier setups. So I find that it's out of the way, and then the hose just runs over the top of my shoulder and down, and I've got it mounted to the front of my plate carrier that way. Which some people say, I'd find that gets in the way, it limits movement and stuff like that. I've had no issues with this. You can roll around on it. I lay down fairly often when I'm at events, sometimes tactically, sometimes to have a nap. And
fully kitted, of course.
Of course. You got to get downtime when you can. And I never find there's any issues with that. So, ultimately, there's lots of positions that you can have a water storage system on you. I mean, with a standard pouch, you could obviously just have a water bottle in there as well. But yeah, there's lots of ways and means. I quite like the little source bladders though. They're 1 litre. I think it's the 1 litre kangaroo pouch it's called. I'll always rate that. And we've actually got a review on that on the website as well. So if you're interested and want to find out more, we've got a full review written up on the website. So go for it.
Yes. Lovely.
There you go.
Very nice too, sir.
Any other methods of carrying water that we've seen? We've obviously got the jerry cans as well. Do one of you want to talk about the big jerry cans?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of events. Sort of we've taken for like the team, didn't we? Sort of like the 20 litre jerry or 20 gallon jerry cans, whatever they are, which are always handy. Leave it at a harbour area. Someone always brings one along. Mike's got one. I think Andy's got one as well. So there's like 60 gallons or 60 litres, whatever they are. Which is always kept at the harbour area or on a vehicle, so you can, if you do need to resupply, label it up with your team name or someone's name on it, whoever's bought it, and then it can be brought out to you. They're always good. They're relatively cheap. I think preppers are doing them for about $14.99, something like that.
They're not much at all.
They're not expensive
That's where I got
at all.
mine from.
Give it a good slosh out when you first get it. I'm not sure if you can use boiling water in there. I don't know if I'd suggest that, but certainly I'd definitely either chuck a bit of iodine in it or a few sterilising tablets and give it a damn good slosh. Because it has been sort of sat in storage for a while. But yeah,
I didn't put boiling water in mine. I boiled the kettle, waited a few minutes, let it cool down, and then poured it in and put a couple of purification tablets.
That's it, mate. Yeah, they clean it out nicely,
and that cleans it out nicely.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, they're good. They're good bits of kit. They are good bits of kit. Godsends, really.
Have you guys ever used the Milton tablets for cleansing anything?
No.
No.
I don't really use anything to clean out my water bottles and that. I literally just come back from it because I only ever put water in them. I literally just rinse them out with more water and then leave the caps off and let them dry out. Give the inside a bit of a wipe out, or if the old seal or the O-ring's going inside the top of the lid, if that's starting to perish, get a couple more of them in. But no, I never really have to worry about it. I always give them a rinse before I use them, give them a rinse afterwards, and leave the tops off. Might have the old spider in there, but it's a bit of protein, isn't it? A bit crunchy. Lovely.
The one thing I do wash is the mouthpiece.
Oh yeah, rinse the mouth. Yeah, I'll give that a rinse out. Yeah, I usually just blow it from the other end, leave it open, go, and that's clean. Lovely.
And I recently found out that Source mouthpieces are not dishwasher compatible. Just to let people know.
Did it come out like a pancake?
It would not open again. It went in open.
Leave that with me, Andy. I'll fix it.
Yeah. It went in open, which is the strange thing, on one of the little points, so it wouldn't go. And then it was not on the little point at the end of the cycle. It was down the bottom and would not open at all, even with a pair of pliers. So don't put them in the dishwasher. Definitely don't put them in the washing machine.
Yeah, don't put them in the dishwasher.
Dishwasher, they did not work. So hot water, I would recommend, and a little bit of.
If you do go with the Source mouthpieces as well, there are a distinct difference in the. I would say the quality of some of the mouthpieces. So I've got 2 different styles, one of which just leaks all the time. There just seems to be no natural sort of clip. You know, they've usually got that little snap, one-way valve type thing in there that it doesn't allow the water out if it's not, if you're not drawing on it, basically. But I've got some that are horrendous and some that are really, really good. So,
see, I've always used Camelback, and I've never ever had an issue with them leaking. The bags are being solid, the connection at the bottom of the bag, and then obviously the mouthpiece as well. Always been really good, yeah. And I mean, the one I've got on the back of my rig, it's only like, it's a 1.5 litre one. You can pick it up on eBay, about 20 quid, 25 quid. They're not a branded name, but I've been over on my back, or smashed into walls of it on and that, and it's absolutely nails. Really good little bit of kit. It's not overly expensive. It's just like a little molly panel, but it's not that. I don't require the 3 litres on my back, just that 1.5 litres, just in case sort of thing. If you're running a couple of litres in your day sack and that, it's just there. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but no, like I say, it's not branded, but it's a good. That's the same thing I do with that. It's just water in there. I completely empty it out as best I can. Leave the cap off. The rest of the water evaporates, dries out. Lovely stuff. Yeah, all good.
The one thing that I did try to use for a couple of years was the ice plate or the water plates. So you take out your weighted plates, and they've made basically water bottles the same shape as your armor plating. You fill them up with water, or you can freeze them overnight and put them in front and back. They take Source and Camelback fittings. One of them.
Nice.
And they did work. The one thing that I did find was that because it is closer to your body, that the water can get warm, especially on the warmer days when you're running around, you're doing a lot of exercise. And also as well, once you've drunk one, your plate carrier becomes very unbalanced.
That's the only downside to it, isn't it? Really?
So I had one on the front and one on the back.
Quick, someone piss in my plate carrier so it's balanced.
Yeah.
Well, what colour is it? Is it clear or?
yeah. Don't like that yellow stuff. Clear only.
But they're only 1.5 litres as well. So for me, where I like to carry 3 litres as a minimum, I ended up buying 2. So I had one on the front and one on the back. And all you undo is unpull that. Once one finishes, you just pull your hydration tube out and put it in the front one. But I did find it very uncomfortable when you were doing that way once they were empty, because they haven't got the weight to keep it down. No. And I just found the plate carrier moved around a lot. But if you've got heavy weight on the back and a heavy weight on the front, maybe having one behind you isn't a bad idea. In the summer, they were brilliant because you could freeze them.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah.
That was lovely. So you had a nice cold frozen pack on your back. As you start warming up, it starts to melt it a little bit, but you've still got cold water.
No, that's a good shout. See, I like my 8 kilos of pointless steel that are in my my plate carrier, because it does. Although it's heavy, it just sits so comfortable.
It sits nice, doesn't it?
Proper comfortable. Yeah, four in the front, 4 in the back, with all the other crap on top of it.
Yeah. So it literally goes from basically your 8 kilo plates down to foam plates. Or those plastic plates. You've got nothing in, and that's what I found uncomfortable. But some people who already run the foam or the lightweight plastics, it might be something that people might be interested in. I would definitely say it's user preference, those ones, definitely, 100%. I can recommend them for the quality, but for me personally, it was not something that I could get on with.
Yeah, that's a fair point, mate. Fair point. Like that.
Just trying to find a picture, because there's I'm pretty certain I've seen a hydration bladder for like a squad. So I've just been googling, and you can sort of go up to 20 litres.
Yeah. Sort of it's got like four or five.
Yeah, but I can't find the one because it had like literally just tubes coming out all over.
They did have them on preppers for a while, a few months back, if I remember.
Yeah, I can't find one to hand to show a funny picture, but
yeah, it's like a family Camelback, isn't it?
Yeah,
some
you look
poor
like,
sod.
The guy You look like the Octo 8, Dr. Octo, or whatever, from Spider-Man with all the hoses coming out of you.
That's it. Yeah.
And whoever's carrying it is hench.
Yeah. Well, it'd be good because you could, if it's something like that though, just whack clipping it up on the side of a wagon or something, and then it's just like a little water source. Do you know what I mean? That'd be quite cool. Might get one for a try.
Because I mean, we've never really needed to do an event where we've needed that much water. I would say, to be fair.
But then you think between a team of you, you're going to have 3 or 4 litres each. You're going to have that much between sort of like an 8-man team, if not more, really. You know, so maybe I don't know.
I can only assume it's for sort of PT training and stuff like that, where you've got someone kind of just jogging along with some water while everyone else has got loads of kit on. So I don't know. I'm not ex-serving, so James C, please let us know.
Yep, James, Terry, you ever use Enrage?
Or Terry, yeah. Terry's would have just been a big barrel that people were
No, Terry's
drawn by a horse and cart.
Terry's one would have been a wooden bucket with a metal mug, wouldn't it, on a bit of rope, and you just mate, you walks around and you just take a bit and then pass it on. Yeah, that's
it. Stephen Whitehead says, take your canteens on recon and pop a straw in it like a Capri Sun.
Oh, fair play. Is this the smoke grenade idea? I'm going to look into that. I reckon that could be a thing.
Well, to be fair, definitely. You could probably just buy the old cast-off mil-spec spokes. Couldn't you just fill them with water? You might have to clean them out.
Fettle a water bottle into it.
I'd clean them out big time.
Yeah, cool. Awful lot of minerals in this one, isn't there? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all good stuff.
My peas turned blue.
Yeah. My pea's smoking.
Yeah, just don't choose the orange ones because they're carcinogenic, isn't they?
Yeah.
Avoid them ones.
Right, I've queued up about 16 or 17 comments. So let's just run through some of those quick. Paulus Wales even says all airsofters should familiarise themselves with the Bristol stool chart.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll get on that.
Kenny says, I use science in sport tabs. Come in a few flavours. So
science in sport tabs.
Clem Airsoft asks a question. Thank you, Clem. How many litres do you tend to have a day during a MilSim?
Whoa. Well, obviously we go out with sort of 3 or 4, and I usually come back at a minimum with 2.5, 3 litre bottles empty, depending on how long you've been out for, really. So, I mean, if you're doing sort of like 4 or 5 patrols in a day-ish sort of thing, you know, you're looking at 14, 15 litres maybe consuming that, as well as bits on top. So, I mean, in a day, in a MilSim day, if it's like good weather, and it's a little bit full on, I'd expect someone to be drinking at least 10 litres of water at a minimum, because you will be working for it. So yeah, I'd say at least 10 litres you should be getting down your neck at a MilSim event. That's if you're on the move and you're patrolling, and it depends on the weather. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But even in cold conditions, you need to still maintain that water intake, because you can still dehydrate even if it's snow on the ground. You can still come down.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's still a thing. So regardless of it being hot, dehydration's only a hot weather thing. It's not. It can happen anytime. You know. So
you got to think all that kit you're carrying, especially in the colder weathers, it's actually worse because you've got layers on.
You will sweat more. You know,
and you
could potentially sweat as much as you would in the summer. But it just feels different, obviously, because you've got that cold temperature on the outside. Your body is still going to be sweating as if it is 30 degrees outside, you know what I mean? Or whatever it could be. So, just be mindful of that. But I'd say at least like a 10 litre. 10 be pissing for days. Yeah. Well, no, you won't be, though. You shouldn't be, because you'll be consuming what you need for what your body's losing. You're just replacing it. So,
yeah. But that's another thing as well. If you start drinking loads, obviously drinking lots of water can also be bad for you as well.
Yeah.
So if you find that you're drinking a litre and then 2 seconds later you're having a piss, calm it down a little bit. It's basically trying to. You got to know your own body.
Yeah. You'll know when you need a drink. You know what I mean? You'll know. You know if you start getting a bit headachy, a bit irritable, sort of thing like that, and a bit. I mean, big indicator when you're a bit parched, your old mouth's a bit Gandhi's flip flop going on. You know, get half a litre down your neck. You know, don't sit there just guzzling litres of water. I've got to get 10 litres in. Once your thirst is quenched, then it's quenched. It might be different for some people. I might take a litre. Might only take half a litre, perhaps, to quench his thirst or whatnot. So it's definitely personal preference, mate. As long as you're taking on water, that's the main thing.
Yeah,
at Machiavellian, which was the Defiant event where we were stuck in a bush for 12 hours, 24 hours, however long it was. I didn't drink a lot at all on that event, and I remember you saying at one point, like, I haven't noticed you've drunk, you need to drink something. And it wasn't really until we'd moved out of that LUP that I was actually starting to feel thirsty because realistically we weren't moving around much. You know, we were just laying there.
Yeah, but again, that's situational, isn't it? You're not going to take it. You're not going to be guzzling as much water as a guy that's been sort of tabbing about all day long doing patrols. If you're just there recceing in a bush on eyes on a target or whatever, then your body's not going to require you to take on as much water as what would be the guy who's doing like a patrol, like a roaming patrol or something like that. He's going to need more water because he's expelling more. So definitely situational, and obviously, like Andy said, it's your own. You know your own body sort of thing, how much you'd need to take on to sort of quench it, but. You know, you do, and that's another thing. Obviously, keep an eye on people in your team. Like I did with Mike, I said, I literally haven't seen you drink any water. Can please drink some while I'm here, so I can see that you've drunk some.
But that's also as well when you're sitting around, when you're sitting around in the same area, like you were doing stuff, but for a lot of the time, I'm guessing you were sitting there twiddling your thumbs. It's
just laying prone, just eyes on, on your belt buckle, reporting back intel and that. So you're not expelling any energy. If anything, we're trying to hold on to it because it's so fucking cold.
Yeah, but you don't think, oh, actually, I should have a drink. You're just thinking, shit, I'm cold. So it's not in your mind. Like hot days, everyone knows that they need to drink, but in the colder days, people don't think, oh, well, I don't need to drink as much.
Stephen Whitehead just said Perrier.
Absolutely,
get the old fizzy water in there. I mean, this is where the buddy system really comes in. I mean, I think any event that you go to, if you're in a team of whatever size, then you need to really have a buddy system set up because, like, the TL probably has a bit of a responsibility to make sure that the team's taking on water and stuff a little bit as well. I mean, ultimately, as a TL role, it's not just like, oh yeah, you're giving all the instructions. You need to actually look after your team.
Welfare is a huge part of it for me when I do it. You know, summer events. You know, if we're stopped for a while, you know, if we can, without sort of compromising ourselves, get the boys in the shade. Right, while we'd stop, lads. You know, get some water down your necks. Blah blah blah. You know, basic stuff. You know.
And having buddies, if you've literally got a buddy there looking out for you, you're looking out for them. It's always making sure there's at least one person that's keeping an eye out for you. So. Yeah. James C said doing both, Andy, is a good strategy. So this is topping up on calories and hydrating before the event.
Yeah, I've got to admit, hydration is something that obviously I drink like 3 to 4 liters while I'm at work anyway. So I tend to do that, but I don't I don't build up my hydration levels. I do build up my calories, but I probably should start doing the latter as well.
Yeah. That's my problem. I'm forever building up my calories, just in case.
That's half a gallon. I'll have done a half a gallon of water by the end of the show. So lovely jubbly.
And at the end of the show, he's going, I need a wee.
I need a wee. Bye-bye.
Drew says, best water I've ever had was during an escape and evasion X in Germany, Harz Mountains, head in a stream. Amazing.
Oh, I bet. Just incredible, like a natural spring. My friend in Ireland, when we used to go fishing out there, he had a natural spring in his garden. He had like this old stone well, and it used to just bubble up, then trickle down through a little stream in his garden. But at that source point where it came out these old, like, huge sort of granite stone sort of thing, you could literally it was like the stone had been chiselled, like a couple of hundred years before. It was an old cottage that he bought and sort of revamped. And you could literally just palm it straight out of this little pool. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Once you push the cows and the fucking goats out of the way. Get in there. My water. Get out of it.
Pony says, Pony Tony, that monster comment was aimed at someone I feel violated.
No, it was aimed at everyone.
Philip
I've never been one for him. Sorry, I've never been one for any apart from Red Thunder. But other than that, that's the only drink I've ever drank, which is just Moody. That was like Audi's Moody Red Bull, wasn't it? Red Thunder.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, the sugar-free one. That's the one I did have. But yeah, I've never been one for sort of like the monsters and bits and bobs like that. They really appealed to me.
No,
I'd share that with you. Not essentially important, but
I do like the Mountain Dew though, which is pretty good.
Oh no, see, my downfall's Sneak. I do like a Sneak.
Is that the rabbit-y sort of the rabbit graffiti rabbit symbol? Right. Okay. Yeah.
That was a good. I have them now only for MilSims, and that's it, or events. I don't drink them randomly during the day anymore because it got to midnight, and I was like, What were we gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and hoover the car.
I'm just thinking how silly sea colours. Of course, you see colours. I was thinking like hair colours. That's what I was trying to say. Philip says, "Do your events not have mandatory water on your person for all day / multi-day events?"
Some have a recommended, but there's no mandatory.
I don't think they I don't think they go through people's kit to make sure they've got. I mean, some. I mean, I'm not pigeonholing here, but I mean, one in particular group would be snipers who try and remain as light as possible with as minimal kit on them as possible. I've seen a couple of them go out with like literally like a 500ml bottle, and then see them like 3 hours later, thinking like, "Shit, really? That's all you've had," sort of thing. But yeah, it's certainly not a mandatory thing, Phil. But it's not a bad idea. But I mean, I think if you was attending an event and it is incredibly hot weather forecast for that weekend, I'm sure the organisers would sort of insist and be like, please ensure that you've got sort of like enough water on you. I know James is a stickler for that sort of thing from Defiant and that, and I'm sure Mike was at Legion, to be fair, and there was quite handy that obviously in the town, the urban area where a lot of the Op 4 used to set up, there was standpipes and access to water, and in the main fob where like, JTF when that was always set up, there was a standpipe and access to drinking water there that you could replenish from. So yeah, there's a couple of events there that did supply a good water source for you to use. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's down to your personal admin to a certain extent. You know,
even if you saw someone going out without any water, just say, "Mate, you need to take some water with you, bud." And if they tell you to piss off, leave me alone. It's nothing to do with you. Be like, "Okay," but I'm just making you aware that you're going out and boiling hot with whatever it is you're carrying with no water. That's pretty stupid.
You can call 999 yourself then.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're chasing unicorns around the top of a tree trying to get them out because you're hallucinating to buggery.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. That'd be a 999 call I'd like to hear the recording of.
Phil says apparently in Australia it's part of their insurances and duty of care. So,
well, that's a good shout, mate. Yeah, fair play, Phil.
To be fair, I guess in Australia.
Yeah, but it's hotter than the sun out there, Phil. I mean, come on.
Even the water's trying to kill you over there.
I'm surprised all your games just say night events.
Yeah. No, because that's when even deadlier things come out at night.
That's where the true deadly arrives at night. It's 5 degrees cooler, but there's death everywhere.
I mean, there's a couple other comments. Like Kenny says it would be nice to see water provided at events. Adventures of Zulu says it's odd that airsoft event organisers don't supply water where other events would. I mean, I would argue that
we do.
Site should have.
We will.
Yeah, we will.
Empire does.
Any site should have the provision for water. So it might not be that they'll give you all a water bottle and carry it around and have it all throughout the site. But it might be that there's a Bowser or something somewhere that you can top up with if you need to. But then a lot of airsoft sites are out in the middle of nowhere. So I can appreciate that that's not always the easiest thing to do.
But then on the flip side of that, how hard is it for an organiser to have half a dozen 20-litre jerry cans?
Yeah.
You know, I would expect people to bring water. You know, you are grown-ups. You are attending an event. You know, bring some water with you. But worst case scenario, we do have some water on site that you'd have access to. Or maybe sort of expect that, perhaps. But I don't know. It's up to the event organiser at the end of the day. I certainly, if it was going to be a burning hot weekend, I'd certainly make sure that there was water available. Or even if it wasn't, I'd make sure that there was some water available, because you never know, someone could have forgotten a bag and think, "Oh shit, all my water bottles are at home." You know, so we've got a few crates here, so we can give you some. Blah blah blah. You know.
Right, last few comments. Adventures of Zulu says Nalgene bottles are the best.
Yep.
So pretty cool, especially the ones with the wide opening mouths. They're quite useful.
Yeah.
Because you can,
absolutely.
when they're empty, you can store other things in them.
There's actually recently there's a video on TA Outdoors, and he did an overnighter with I can't remember the guy's name. He's an ex-Royal Marine, and he's like does a bushcraft. Is it not down in Devon somewhere he lives? And he done like an overnight with him, and he's got a Nalgene bottle, but it's like a bag bottle, and that's his pee one, so it rolls up nice and small. And he keeps it in his DOS bag, so if he needs a pee at night, he hasn't got to get out. It's a nice wide opening, so you haven't got to really have a good aim if you're half asleep. You can lash into that. He puts the lid back on, and then there's a hot water bottle in the winter. It's like, that is brilliant. You know what I mean? That is a brilliant idea. Yeah.
Until you roll over
Definitely
on it,
label that bottle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He actually says that in the video. Yeah, it's on TA Outdoors. It's a recent one he done with he's an ex-marine, and they do like an overnighter at his like bushcraft survival school sort of thing, which is it's really worth a watch. It's actually a really good video. Yeah, he's a good guy. So yeah, check that out definitely.
Yeah, you want to make sure that bottle's labelled.
Yeah. Or just take a normal hot water bottle because you ain't going to drink out of that.
Well, there was that story, wasn't
This
there?
Lucasades a bit flat.
They did it, I've always spoken about it. Like that Sniper One, about set out in Iraq, innit? Like obviously the sniper sniper team at the Simic House, in a sort of like a village in Iraq somewhere. I can't remember the name of the town now. But when they were up on the roof fighting, there was like bottles of water, and then at night time, obviously they couldn't get down off the roof because it was just constantly under attack. He said the amount of times that people have grabbed a bottle and just opened the lid and swigged out of it, and it's been a bottle of piss because it's exactly the same temperature as the water up there. He said there were hundreds of times. It didn't even become a thing anymore. Like people going like that. It was just like, oh, it's piss, water, quick slosh. You know what I mean? It literally became the norm sort of thing because it's just awful and disgusting. But there we go.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I get that they're under fire, but I feel that they could have come up with a system that they weren't having to deal with drinking.
Yes.
I would have thrown the bottles of piss off the roof.
Yeah, I would have launched it at the enemy. I would have been like,
At the attackers.
Don't have a grenade. Have a bottle of piss.
Yeah. Dirty bastards just throw a bottle of piss at me.
I mean, I feel, I don't get me wrong. I appreciate when you're under contact that it must be a harrowing experience, and you've probably got other things on your mind. But you don't want to be opening bottles of piss. There must be at least one person there going, guys, should we do this with the piss bottles?
Could you imagine it at the end of the contact though, just like falling back against the wall and like I can only imagine, literally just imagine, but it's like, just grabbing it, just eyes shut, just grabbing the bottle and no. And it was going so well.
It's where you squirt it over yourself because at that point it'll be way too late.
I'm not going to do it because that'll be a meme. I'm not even going to do that action. No way. But yeah, they'll just be so disappointed. Like, yeah, we won the firefight, lads. High fives and backslapping and then drink piss.
Mike, show us a demonstration with your battery holder. How would you hold the bottle?
No, I'm not playing.
I saw a funny short. I won't mention it though. It's good. I will actually. It's a bit like Mike's battery holder, but it's a guy in the gym and he walks past there's a squat rack and there's a barbell across it and it's got no weights on it. And he walks past it and the end of the barbell just grazes his cheek like that. And he looks round and the camera changes and it's RoboCop stood there. and he sort of like goes like to grab it like that. And then it's the scene in the first RoboCop, the old film, where he starts having the nightmare.
Oh yeah.
You have a look. It's really well done. Yeah, it did make me chuckle. That's silly things I laugh at. Oh dear, look, he's tossing RoboCop off. Brilliant.
James says, I carry at least one water bottle on my battle belt, so I always have some with me and then a few litres in my day sack as well. Just
Good,
moving
man.
on from the RoboCop.
Just moving on from RoboCop.
Story.
No, that.
Anvil says, 2 British Army bottles in webbing, 3 litre bladder in a day sack. I drink from the bottles as I can keep better eye on how much I'm consuming. That's a fair point.
That's a good shout.
Les says, on a weekend I normally take 25 to 30 litres and carrying it I use my car.
Fair play, Les. Good on you.
Les.
Yeah, there you go, Les.
One thing I would like to see on a
I thought you were going to say
camelback
about Les.
or a water bladder or Les. Yeah, I'd like to see a tap.
I think I've always liked about Les.
Yeah, I'd like to see where the actual the drinking straw goes down to the base of the camelback or whatever bladder it is. Would be having a smaller one, slightly smaller one that comes off of it with an access tap, so you could fill a water bottle from the bladder rather than trying to open the big mouthpiece of it or the pouring piece and just trying to tip it out. But to be able to have that as a thing, do you know what I mean? Would be quite cool. Mike's googling one now. See if we can do it.
No, so Source do a bottle filling point, so you can attach it to your mouthpiece, screw the bottle on, and you squeeze the bottle, and that then fills your bladder.
Oh, okay.
So it's not quite the way.
So you can fill the bladder, but you can't fill a bottle. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but it'd be nice to be able to fill, because I've tried it with my camelback with the straw and putting the mouthpiece open in there, and it's just sort of like blip, blip. So let's take it. It'll evaporate before it fills the bottle up. Do you know what I mean? So,
you need someone to come in behind you and hug you to squeeze the water bladder.
I haven't tried that.
Buddy, give us a hug.
Yeah, I need my buddy. Where's my buddy?
Also, as well, once you got, if you, I tend to have mine. I tend to have a longer tube, which is lower than what the water bottle is. So once you get it going on that bag, you can actually squeeze the side of the water bladder.
Okay.
And because it's lower than what you are with the cup, once it gets going, I don't know what the technical term for it, but it's not siphoning itself. Like,
I think the technical term is siphoning.
Yeah, but you can let go of it, and
Siphoning.
because it's lower than where the exit is or the water level is, it automatically starts doing it, which is a good way of doing it.
I'm gonna try and make one. I've got a spare camel bladder here. I'm gonna order a T-bar piece, so I'll have a primary out of the thing, T-bar it off, one going to the straw, and then another one going off to a small piece, and then a tap attachment on it. And see if I can
The other
make that
option is
work.
if you had some sort of pump thing that you could sort of squeeze on your hydration tube that would effectively replicate the suction from a mouth.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So hang on a minute, you went.
I'm such a child. Yeah. So what I was thinking is, I mean, ultimately the water bladder tubes work on the principle of you sucking the water down the tube and out. Where if you could have something that could, by
like
way
a
of
reverse
pump
bellows.
mechanism,
Yeah.
just like something like that basically act as a pump to pump the water out. It's like a little handheld thing that would work quite well. But that sounds a lot more complicated than just attaching a little tap somewhere. So
I'm gonna try it. That sounds like a cool little thing. I think that's something that I could quite comfortably do as well without building an M57 smart gun like Harry's latest video. Has anyone seen it? It's incredible. Have you seen the video of him on his story on Instagram?
Yeah. It looks sick.
Loading up.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Very jealous.
Fucking Harry.
I have messaged Harry about a potential collaboration that we could do with him, which I will brief you to on at the end of the show.
Oh, God.
There's my entry.
That's my entry.
My entry. That's it. Done.
Winning!
Winning! And it extends, look, so I can do it from afar. There we go, look at that. Safe distance.
Not so much attached bayonets as attached butt plugs.
It's not a butt plug, it's a tent spike protectorizer.
Yeah, look, Kenny comes bringing the conversation back. A mini impeller in the hose.
Oh.
You could almost have like a little mechanised pump system that you can push a button.
I mean, you can get them for camping showers where you drop a little pump into like a water bowser and it just blasts up, it pressurizes and blasts it out. You can do that, I suppose. Cheers, NoFo, hoping to be finished ASAP. I hope so, Harry.
Yeah.
Both of them. The one that I want as well.
Both of them. Yeah.
I'll drop a little link to Harry's video in our Insta as well. After the show,
it's definitely worth a watch because it's incredible what he's done.
Part 2, this is part 1. Make sure you go back and watch it if you haven't seen it already. Go give him a look. So, right, last few comments. Anvil says, then I refill the canteens from the bladder.
Not the canteens.
The canteens.
I only have water containers. Mix whatever else in a mug before.
Fucking canteen.
Because we've all had that water bottle where you've put some squash in it. You take the squash out, you drink it, you wash it. No, in the past, this is how we've all learned. Let's be honest. When you were kids, not even when you were kids.
Oh yeah, when I was like really little, I put it in.
Yeah.
My mum used to wash them out for me.
Yeah.
But you always, you always experience that bottle where you've drunk from it. It's got squash in it, and you go, "Oh, this is just horrendous," because that's all you can ever taste.
Plastic's the worst.
Andy, what Steve just said.
Aliens MilSim.
In that bunker. The SEO bunker.
Yeah, no, I ain't doing that. Bullshit.
I'd be all over that.
I'd be cacking my pants. Literally.
I'd even be one of the dudes. I'd happily be one of the colonists against the wall, going, "Kill me," just to be there.
Can I be the alien?
Or I'll dress as the guy that jumps. I'll be one of the aliens that jumps on your face. Might be a bit too big for that role, but I'll give it a go.
The
Put your clothes back on, mate.
Yeah, we're not the BBC.
James C says 1 or 2 bottles in webbing and 3 litres in hydration bladder in a day sack. So yeah, I mean we are coming to the conclusion that sort of very somewhere between sort of 3 and 5 litres can always be used for resupplying the bottles. with the bladder. So Terry G says, I find a bucket is good for carrying water.
Well,
Thanks, Terry.
It's a tried and tested method, and we can't argue with that, Tel. Good on you.
James says those emergency water bags are normally for ships where non-salt water is hard to
Yes,
find.
mate. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. You can get them. I think preppers do them as well. And I think because they can be stored in any temperature as well. So you can keep them in your vehicle, and it doesn't matter if it gets to like 35, 40 degrees in the summer, the water will stay as water rather than being in a plastic bottle and getting all horrid. So yeah, they are very good. Keep them in the door card, 4 or 5 of them in there. They're just handy little packets. Always good.
Rage says, and I have to disagree, I don't think it's a controversial opinion. I think it's a very good opinion. People need to take a bit of responsibility for their own well-being. We're not children.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
if you're going to an event and you've got all this kit with you, which isn't, let's say it's not cheap at the end of the day, you're brandishing sort of like an imitation firearm, cutting about doing this, that and the other. It's basic. Drink water.
Yeah.
Look after yourself. Know when you need to have a drink and things like that.
Bring food and bring water.
Bring food and water. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
keep yourself alive.
Yeah. Just do what you do during the week, but at Airsoft as well. That's the best way of doing it. Yeah.
It's like you turn up to
you've
an
managed
Airsoft
it.
event and be like, I can't function anymore.
Yeah. You've managed it all week. You've got to this point all week from Monday. You've gone all the way through. Now you're here. Now you go.
Yeah. To be fair, you've done it pretty
No
well
water.
since you were about 5 years old when you can start asking, I'm thirsty, can I have a glass of water? You've done pretty well since 5.
Exactly.
So why does it get to the weekend and
Some
you go...
people just go through the gate at an airsoft site and just everything falls out of one ear, doesn't it? It's just like,
Can you imagine James from Defiance response if you went up to him and go, James, can I have a drink, please? I didn't bring any water.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Especially if you called him mummy as well. That'd be even better, wouldn't it? Challenge for have a drink, please, mummy.
Oh, all the people that are firing is going to be like, James.
He's gonna hate me now. Mummy Bitty.
Mummy Bitty.
Just before we go, because I'm conscious of the time, in terms of cleaning your bladders and bits and pieces like that, best thing is after the event, do it.
First thing.
Just get them
even
clean,
whilst you're still at
empty
the
them
event,
out.
if you're about to get in the car and go, just empty the bladder out, or keep a bottle of water for the drive home or whatever it is. But yeah, get them cleaned out straight away. Rinse them out, leave the lids off, let them dry. Happy days.
If they do, for whatever reason, go mouldy, and I can't say I've got any huge experience with this, always follow the manufacturer's instructions. So source bladders, for example, they have a methodology for cleaning them. They don't do well with chemicals. So some of the soaps and stuff like that can actually start fucking up the bag. So make sure you read the manufacturer's instructions. Some of the hard plastic Nalgene bottles.
Buy a new one, like I did, because I was not even going to attempt to clean that. It was it had water in it when I put it away. Let's put it that way. Not a good look.
But the other thing is try and dry them out. So, a lot of the things that grow in the water, which are gross, if you make sure you've got it dry, leave the caps off, anything like that. Don't seal a bit of water. Like, you empty your bottle, you wash it out, and it's still a little bit damp in there. You put the lid back on. That's just a breeding ground. It's just gonna
and it will stink. Even if it's just clean water, it will stink. Just leave the lid off even for a few days. Leave the lids off on a sunny windowsill. Let them completely dry out, or whatever it is. Or stick them in the air and cupboard, lids off. Happy days.
Everyone has one of the old wire coat hangers. Everyone has one in the household at some point. What I've done is I've unwrapped it round the hook. I've bent it round so it's making a bit of a U shape, and I've put a rubber tip on the end so it doesn't pierce it. And then I'll just put the bag over that so it keeps it stretched out, and then hang it out.
That's a wicked idea, mate. Really good idea.
Literally, everyone's got one,
Andy.
and it takes 2 minutes. That's two shows that I've given two good ideas about.
Brilliantness.
Welcome, I'm back. Well, I've started.
He has arrived.
I have
ladies and
arrived.
gentlemen. I have
But no,
arrived.
literally, just get yourself. Even if you don't have any like rubber tips or anything, get yourself
Blue
like
tack would work.
blue tack. Another
Super
one
glue.
that I did before I got it was I dipped it in the Mrs. Candle.
Ooh, that could have been. Oh, anyhow, it's
Don't do a scented one. Don't do a scented candle.
it's
On that
Bosh, indeed. Oh, I
On
think
that
that's
note,
that's Andy's closing words. I think.
What?
Just fit in the Mrs.
Put it
Candle.
Dipped it in the
put
Mrs.
it
Candle.
Candle.
If you want to get in touch with the show to let us know about how you got on dipping it in the Mrs. Candle, you can email us at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is at November_Foxtrot_NoFo, or our website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. If you're interested in our event, jump on the
wrong
website.
one.
There is a whacking great banner on the head of the page, which will allow you to find the event. There's all the details are on our website. There's
And
a
that-
few less details on the booking website. Because I ran out of characters, but all the information's there. So if you've got any questions as well, just get in touch with us. You can also contact us on our own individual Instagrams, which is at 9volt Airsoft for myself. Andy is at _Quartermaster, and Lance is at the _punished_1_. Oh, good show, guys.
Good show.
Next week, we are going to be discussing kit prep for an event.
Ooh.
So with our event coming up, we're obviously starting to look at bits of kit that we would be taking, but we're going to be looking at it from a more holistic point of view. So what do we do to kit prep for an event, and specifically hot events? So we'll be looking at sort of if there's things that we do a little bit differently for a hot event. So there we go.
Nice.
Who wants to do the closing remarks? I can't. I never keep
Well,
tabs
we've
on who
already.
does it.
I think
Andy should
decided,
just say
didn't
that
we?
again in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, that's fine. We'll do it. We'll do
Are
that
we doing the
literally
closing
after we
now?
talk about- no, we'll do it right before we say goodbye.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with the show, please do.
Done that.
There was something else I was going to ask, and it's completely blown me now after thinking about the candle thing again. No, it's gone. Never mind. Cool.
Never mind. You can wait.
Say it at the end of the
Yeah,
show.
we'll deal with it next week. Cool. On that note, Andy, do you want to leave us with some closing remarks?
Dip it in your Mrs. Candle.
See you next week.
I
Say
have
goodbye, guys.
spoken.
Mic drop.
Say
Goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys. Stay NoFo.
Ciao, Bella.
See you later.
Ciao, Bella.